Terminologies you must know as an investor, especially if you're a high net worth individual in Cameroon, or you're a Cameroonian abroad, or even if you are a foreigner who is looking to invest in the real estate space here in Cameroon, especially here in the city of Buea. In this video, I'm going to share with you 20 different words or terminology that you have to get familiar with in the real estate sector so that people will not scam you, so that agents or company will not confuse you. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Atega Daniel and I'm a real estate consultant here in the city of Buea, southwest region of Cameroon. I am the lead marketer at Property Trust Group, a top-selling realtor and also a realtor's coach. Now in this video, I want us to discuss 20 different terminologies or words that you must get familiar with as an investor here in the Cameroon real estate space. The first is real estate. Now, when they talk about real estate, what is real estate, right? Real estate is simply properties made up of land and the buildings that are on it. That is what real estate is. So anytime you see a land and you see a building, probably you are standing on the land right now, right? Or maybe inside a building. So that building or the walls you are looking at right now, or the land you are standing on right now, is real estate. The second terminology is land. Now, what is land? Land is simply the empty surface of the earth that is not covered by water. That's simply what land is, right? The empty surface of the earth that is not covered by water. The third terminology is property. Now, what is property? A property is simply the structure that is on the land, right? So the structure that is on the land. And you also put in mind that the word property, real estate, land is always or can be used interchangeably, right? So somebody can say, how much do you sell that property? How much do you sell this land? How much do you sell this real estate, right? So those three words are often used interchangeably. The fourth is buyer's agent. Now, who is a buyer's agent? Is the person bringing the buyer and connecting him with the owner or the seller of the property. That's who a buyer's agent is. And number five, which is the opposite, seller's agent. A seller's agent is simply the person that's representing the seller, right? Now, there is a document called the power of attorney or the sales contract that an owner of a property gives to his or her agent, that is in bracket the seller's agent, right? So for, let's say Mr. A wants to sell Mr. B's property. So Mr. B gives Mr. A power of attorney or a sales contract to prove or give power to Mr. A to be able to sell that property. So when you contact Mr. A to buy a property, always make sure that Mr. A has the capacity or the authority to transfer interest, ownership, and power of that and document or title of that particular property, because there are a lot of people who disguise as people who can be able to sell a property. It is only after inspection when you now say you want to make payment, they're not like, no, oh, come, or maybe you request for the documents, they're not like, no, come, let me go and show you the real owner of this property. Okay, so that was just to clarify something under the seller's agent. The sixth terminology is offer and acceptance. Now, let me explain. These are two terminologies you must know. The first is offer, the second is acceptance. Now, when you approach the seller and make your intentions known, right, to buy or purchase a particular property in real estate, they call that an offer, right? That's you've made an offer or interest to purchase a particular property. Now, when the seller accepts your offer, it's now called acceptance. Now, you might just think that these are just normal terms, but it is only your lawyer that will tell you how important these words or these terminologies are. Because when it comes to property documentation or titling, these words are very important. They can go and, use acceptance when it was an offer that was supposed to be used there. And before you know it, there are disputes and a lot of stuff. That's why it's very, very important to always get a property or a competent lawyer when, carrying out your real estate transactions in Cameroon. All right. Now, the seventh terminology is execution. Now, what is execution? Now, execution is when happens when all the parties sign their parts. Like, okay, let's say, for example, you want to buy a property from me, Daniel, right? And then You come and you see the property, everything is well, you check the documentation and everything is good. And then we have to now sign. That point where you sign and I sign to transfer ownership to you is called execution in real estate. They are all legal terms, very, very important legal terms, okay? So execution is the seventh terminology that you must get yourself familiar with in order not to get confused or get scammed when investing your hard-earned money in the best real estate deals here in Cameroon. Terminology number 8, you have down payment or initial deposit. Now, down payment or initial deposit is any amount that you pay after the mutual agreement in which the balance will be completed later. So let's say a property is 10 million francs CFA and you have to complete the balance in 1 month, in a month or 2 months time, and you give a down payment or initial deposit of 5 million to complete the rest after. That 5 million that you paid in the beginning, that you've initially paid, is called down payment or initial deposit. Number 9, inspection. Now, what is inspection? Inspection is when you decide to see the property. It's a process of you going to see the property to see whether first it truly exists, because there can be lands or properties that exist only on paper and there is no. That's why site inspection is very, very important, especially if you're a Cameroonian abroad. Now, if you are a Cameroonian abroad or a foreigner, if you can't do physical inspection or there's nobody that can take you to the property to actually inspect the property, you can do what we call virtual inspection. So the agent or the real estate consultant goes on site, does a video call, okay, a video call, and then you can see and shows you the boundaries, the pillars, and everything on the property. Now, if you are not available at the same time the agent is available for the video call, always ask the agent to do a live Facebook, like a live, to go live on Facebook. Maybe create a private Facebook group, right, for just you and the consultant. They go on site, they do a live video, and they put it. The reason why I'm saying live is because you can't edit a live video on Facebook, right? You can't really edit it. When it's live, when you go live and you leave it, it remains there. Now, if they download the video and re-upload the video, you are going to know that this video has been uploaded. But if it's live, the moment they are done with the live video, it remains there. And you'll come and then Facebook will notify you that this is a live video. Terminology number 10, a realtor. Who is a realtor? A realtor is the same as an agent, right? The same as a real estate consultant. So I am a realtor. I am a real estate consultant. That's why in some of my videos, I'll tell you that my name is Atega Daniel and I am your favorite real estate consultant based here in the city of Boya, Southwest region of Cameroon. Terminology number 11, transfer of title. Now, what is the meaning of transfer of title? Transfer of title, this is the point where interest, title, and ownership is being transferred by the seller to you, the buyer. So when they say that the title of this document has been transferred to you, it means 3 things in one. It means that in that document, interest. So the interest of the buyer in that property is in that document. The title, that is the document itself, is in the document, and ownership is in that document. So interest, title, and ownership has been fully transferred to you. Terminology number 13, title document or title documents. So that document is with, in bracket, S, right? Title document or title documents. What are title documents, right? Title documents are simply documents that reveals the owner or owners of a particular property, because there are some properties that are owned by a family, right, or an organization. For example, I got a client who came for site inspection and he came on behalf of an organization. They said they want to, buy the property, keep, and then later build a school on that property. So if they eventually come to buy, the title will bear the name of the organization and maybe the head or maybe the president who will be representing the whole organization. Now, in case they have to resell that property in future, it will be an organization that will be transferring the interest, the title, and the ownership of that property. Terminology number 14 is called a recital. Now, what is a recital? A recital is a paragraph in the title document where the history of the land is briefly detailed. Now, a recital is very important. It's very, very important, especially when it comes to deed of conveyances, it comes to land certificates, right? It's actually just a paragraph. Usually that paragraph is always below the introduction. That's, you always have the details of the seller, and then the details of the buyer, and then you have a recital before your lawyer will best understand this in case you're not familiar with this. But it's good that you also know, right? So that when you take the document, you check and you now know that, okay, this is the root of this title, or the root of this land or property stems from this particular place. Terminology number 15, consideration. What is consideration? Consideration is the amount that is generally given in exchange of a particular. Now, it must not be an amount. It must not be physical cash. So anything that is given in exchange for a property is what consideration is in when it comes to real estate. So it could be a land, it could be a car, it could be a service, it could be love and affection. Yeah, of course. That's why on your birthday, right, or your wife, your spouse, your wife or husband can gift you a land, right? Now, the consideration on the title of that land would be that it was love and affection that caused him to. So it was your love and affection that bought that property. Okay, so it was your love and affection. Another person could have a car that's worth 5 million, and you have a land worth 5 million, and you need the car, the person has the land, so you give your land in exchange for the car. Okay, so that is another consideration. It could be a service, so you could render a service, maybe I don't know, you could render a service that's worth that property, and then the render. For example, perfect example. So we open roads at one of the villages here in that's at my 16 at Wonana village here in the city of Boya, and the compensation, part of the compensation that was given to the company was that the village and its chief gave, I don't think a land. I don't want to say the quantity or the dimension, but they gave a land in exchange of the service of opening the road in the village. Okay, so that's what consideration is. Now we're at 14. I think we should be at 16 now, right? It means that there are actually 21 terminologies. Anyways, so terminology number 16 is a plot. Now, what is a plot? People always say, I want to buy a plot of land, a plot of land, a plot. What is a plot of land? A plot of land is not 500 meters. A plot of land is not 600 meters. A plot of land is not 700, 500, 10,000 meters. A plot of land is a marked out area as it relates to land, full stop. That's what a plot of land is. Now, that marked out area could be 500 meters, could be 400 meters, could be 800 meters, could be 1,000 meters. I think I'm going to do a full video to explain what a plot of land is on site. I'm going to show you. Then we could now, there, I'll show you examples of, a plot of land, maybe show pillars of 400 meters squared, and so on. So a plot of land could be 100 feet by 100 feet, could be 50 by 100 feet, could be 60 by 100, could be 60 by 120, could be 80 by 120. 400 meters squared is 20 by 20, so it could be 20 by 20, right? And it could be in meters, it could be in square meters, it could be in feet, and so on and so forth. Terminology number 17, an acre. What is an acre, right? An acre is simply a basic standard unit of measurement in real estate, right? According to Wikipedia, it is almost equivalent to the size of a standard football field. That's what an acre is. And an acre, it could be the sum of 6 plots. 6 plots measuring 60 by 120, right? Or 4 plots of 100 by 100, or 100 feet by 100 feet. That's about 40% of a hectare. So let me take it all over again. An acre is a standard unit of measurement, right? And according to Wikipedia, it is almost equivalent to the size of a standard football field. And it can be summed up to 6 plots of 60 by 120, or 4 plots of 100 feet by 100 feet. And terminology number 18, a hectare. What is a hectare? When they say I want to buy 1 hectare, right? A hectare also is a standard unit of measurement in real estate, and a hectare measures 100 meters by 100 meters, not feet. 100 meters by 100 meters, or 328 328 feet by 328 feet, right? Which usually sums up to 10,000 square meters. So 1 hectare is 10,000 square meters, right? And it's usually 2.5 of acres. 2.5 acres. Remember, I said acre can sum up to 6 plots of 60 by 120 feet, right? Now I'm telling you that a hectare is 10,000 square meters. That's 100 meters by 100 meters, or 328 feet by 328 feet. Terminology number 19, you have a deed. What is a deed? A deed is simply a written agreement conveying or transferring interest, right? Interest in of a particular title in land from one person to another. That is what a deed is. So a deed can be used in so many other transactions aside from real estate. Now, when you now come to real estate, they now say there is deed of conveyance, there is deed of partition, there is deed of gift, there is deed of assignment. You see, so these are different kinds of deeds that exist in real estate. There are a lot of them, right? But I'm just going to explain the essential ones here. So, like I said, that a deed is a written agreement conveying or transferring interest of a particular title in land from one person to another, right? And I've already said that there are several types of deeds. There's also deed of I think there's deed of assignment, deed of conveyance, and terminology number 20, deed of gift. What is a deed of gift? Deed of gift simply means transferring title of a particular property from one person to another on the basis of a gift. So if I'm gifting you, let's say you buy, I say if you buy 1 hectare from me, I'm going to give you 1 plot of land as a gift. And you buy that hectare, and then maybe we do the documents and everything, and you make payment. And then I say the property I want to give you is much more, accessible in town. So the deed I'm going to do to transfer the title, the interest, and the ownership of that particular property to you is going to be called a deed of gift, not a deed of assignment, not a deed of conveyance, right? Even if the land has a land certificate or land title, I'm still going to give you a deed of gift. And then terminology number 21, which is the last, is deed of partition. And deed of partition is used to divide shares or properties among several people. So let's say an aged, wealthy mama or papa, passes out, and they left a huge number of properties, or for their grandchildren and children, and they have to divide that property or the lands into amongst themselves. So the deed that each and every one of them, or the lawyer is going to make for each and every one of them, is going to be called a deed of partition, not a deed of assignment, not a deed of gift, not a deed of conveyance. It's going to be a deed of partition. I hope I've been able to convince you that there are terminologies that exist, and also be able to make you understand and get familiar with these terminologies. Now, if you've not understood some of them, you can rewatch this video, just familiarize yourself with them. You can even send or forward this video to your lawyer for your lawyer to confirm to you that what I'm saying is true and correct. We've come to the end of this video. I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things or terminologies that you can use or know. Now, when you go to buy a property and they tell you the seller's agent has done this, and at least you will know what they're talking about, okay? Please leave a comment in the comment section, like this video, and subscribe. That is the only way in which YouTube will be able to understand that this video is valuable, and then YouTube will show it to your other fellow Cameroonians in the diaspora, or other high net worth individuals who want to invest their hard-earned money in the best real estate deals here, for them to also watch and learn. I remain your favorite real estate consultant, lead marketer here at Property Trust Group, and see you on the next one.